Hi there, I hope you're doing really well. My name's Paul Smith, one of the co-founders of Touchstone Education, along with my wife Anniko Smith, and I'm talking to you from our main events training room. This is a 10,000 square foot building that we own, but I'm not talking to you about commercial property today. What I'm talking to you about again today is rent to buy. You already know that rent to buy is a fantastic strategy because it's win-win. A tenant gets a lovely home that they couldn't otherwise have. A landlord gets 7 years guaranteed rent, no voids, maintenance issues or anything like that, and this fabulous reassurance of the top up. But what I want to do today is not talk so much about the theory, I want to talk about practical. Because we here at Touchstone Education, we exist to train people like you to become wealthy through property. So that wealth through property generated using rent to buy, I want to introduce you to three of our fabulous students, three of our many fabulous students who are actually doing this real life. So first, I'll introduce you to the lovely Karen. So over to Karen, and how do you think she's enjoying rent to buy?
Hiya, I'm Karen and I'm here at Touchstone today to go and view my first property that I've bought. It's for a rent to buy and I'm really excited about going to see this one now. My mother died earlier on this year and my sister and I inherited her property, which we sold for a substantial amount of money. I needed something to be doing with the money, not just sticking it in a bank and leaving it to rot. So I'd often thought about doing property and was talking to Gordy about sourcing a property for me, which he did. We went to look at this property and I said yes straight away. It was a lovely house, 3-bedroom property, only needs a tiny little bit of work doing to it, which is a great thumbs up. So I didn't have to do loads of work. Put an offer in and that offer was accepted. And we're just waiting now for it all to go through with the solicitors and everything. Massive why as to why I'm doing this, which is my son. He's 16 and he's disabled, he doesn't walk, he never will walk. And unfortunately, I know our care system so well that I know he doesn't ever want to be what I call a wage slave. I don't want him to be a wage slave either. You do get a feel for them, you think, yeah, this is a lovely house, it's great, you know, but you have to remember to buy with your head, not with your heart. That's a little trick. I don't know, somebody once said it to me.
Formulas, not feelings.
That's the one, yeah. There's learn how to do the paperwork, how to do your figures, work everything out. It might be the ugliest little house on the street, but in a couple of years' time, it could be it's the best thing you've ever bought. And most people are naturally nosy, so they love going nosy around houses. Don't fall on these. I prefer it in buy-to-lets because once I've put the people in who are going to rent it, it's basically their home. So they will eventually own it. I don't need to do anything. It takes out all the hassle of having a buy-to-let, of thinking, oh, if they broke a tap, I've got to come and fix and break a tap, I've got to find a plumber. No, it's their problem, not mine. So they pay a normal rent and a top-up which goes towards, it's paid their deposit for their mortgage. If they walk away from that, that money's mine. Plus the fact if they default on their rent, I've got a top-up, I can take that money, the rent money from them. So it's a no-brainer, it's a win-win all the way down the line. It's lovely, I like it. I think it's something that's going to make somebody a really nice home. Really nice home. It's such a lovely area as well. It's got everything, shops around the corner, nice school area, activities for kids to do, you know. So. But I would say to anybody that is looking to do something with money, if they happen to come into money, don't just stick it in a bank, make it work for you. Go and have a go. I mean, I would say it's definitely something for people that people should think about doing if they are lucky enough to. You don't need tons of money because there are ways of doing it. The strategy is to buy without having cash and capital, but that's why you come to places like Touchstone to get educated. We're watching Abby and thinking, hang on a minute, that looks even more interesting, the rent to buy, which gives me a hands-off opportunity. I don't need to be running and fixing somebody's window for them just because they've broken it. and it also gives somebody a leg up the ladder who could possibly never afford it, but only because they can't save the rent or the property. You know, they don't find it there, they need to get a mortgage, they need the deposit. You know, and I just want to help other people get where I ended up, and I love it. And you meet so many nice people. They're all on the same wavelength as you. You don't get looked at like an idiot. Oh, what are you buying property for? You know, it's like, no, buy property. It's, you know, why not? It's there to be had. If you want to sit back on your backside and moan about the 9-to-5 job that you've got, carry on, because I want out of mine.
All right, so what do you think to the lovely Karen? And as you heard her say, sadly, her mum passed away, she sold the house, so she had some cash. She didn't want to anymore work for money. She wanted the money to work for her. And what a fabulous way to do it. Now, as it happens, this was during lockdown. It was actually myself and Gordy, one of my fellow directors here, that let that house. Now, I just want to stop for a second and tell you about that house. That house was taken by a young lady who had, she was a single mum, she had a couple of little kids. And she was in quite a lot of trouble, which is why we wanted to help during lockdown. I'm not going to go into it as to whys and the wherefores. But what we managed to do with that property is she was previously paying a lot more for a 2-bed, and that one's a 3-bed. So here's the fantastic news. Even with the regular rent for that 3-bed, plus the top up so that she will own it in 7 years' time, she was still saving £50 a month. So imagine you could help someone save £50 a month and they're working towards buying a property instead of just renting it. But you also heard Karen talking about her son. She has got very, very powerful motivation, and I just love the way she tells it as it is. If you want to sit, what did she say, sit on your backside and, you know, not do anything about it, or get off your backside and go buy some houses. I love that kind of direct approach. That is straight speaking, and she's getting fantastic results. And by the way, that was her first one. She's done it many, many times since. So if you would like to be like Karen, then listen on and let's talk some more about rent to buy. So I want to introduce you next to a father and son team, Alec and Blair. Now, Blair, when he started with us here at Touchstone, was just 17 years old. Imagine getting your feet wet in the real world of property investing when you're 17. So I want to introduce you to them. I want to tell you a little bit about them. Alec is in his 50s. He had been a landlord before, but he'd had some difficult experiences. He'd taken redundancy from the oil and gas industry up in Aberdeen. Blair was still at school. So imagine that sort of combination of reasons. In your 50s, you can't carry on anymore because your industry's just been destroyed. What a fantastic opportunity, because you work out how to make money from property, how to become wealthy through property using rent to buy. You never have to work again a day in your life. And suddenly, it all becomes clear. Over to Alec and Blair.
My name's Alec.
My name's Blair.
And together we're Barris Property. It's been quite incredible. It's a brand new strategy for us. We've revolutionised our business this year. Aside from everything, all the challenges everybody else has had, we've been fortunate enough to get started with a new strategy, and it has really delivered for us. Not just rent to buy for us, but we've now been asked to do rent to buy for others. So not only did we effectively generate one new income stream, we've generated two. The one where we take our own properties, but we're now providing this as a service that we will take other landlords' properties and do rent to buy for it. Is it profitable, I hear you ask? Blair, is it profitable?
Yes, very much so. If you take our actual first deal we did in rent to buy, that boosted our cash flow from somewhere in the region of 300 per month all the way up to 500 per month in just changing it from a buy to let to a rent to buy. And that in itself is pretty amazing. But what that'll mean over the next 7 years that that young family have taken the deal, we are going to make in the region of around £80,000.
But it certainly sits well with my social component that I like about rent to buy, and that we're helping people. So yeah, it'll make us a little bit more money, but it's going to save him a lot of money.
But not only we're helping people right at the start of our Touchstone journey, because you've always had a goal to go into social housing, but a lot of people know you need a substantial amount of passive income before you can really go into that, because it takes a big hit on your actual earnings. So to the fact we can help and benefit so many young families, and not just young people, anyone that's of any age that struggles to get mortgages or whatever reason, we're able to now help them get a foot in the property ladder. And our move in on the 23rd is a guy mid-50s, and until he seen the advert he was lost to what he could do, because he was struggling and he needed somewhere that he could call a home, but he didn't have the money to do that. And the fact that we're now able to go and help him, it's just surreal to us, and it makes us feel really good about what we're doing, and it just helps benefit him so much. Words can't really describe what he's going through that makes us feel like. So,
and that's the thing you learn at Rent to Buy. Actually, people share their stories with you. Thank you everybody for listening. Take care.
Thank you.
Alec and Blair, let me tell you a little bit more, up to date. What have they done since? They've just taken on a portfolio of 17 properties to manage for another landlord, to turn them from regular buy-to-lets into rent-to-buys. And each and every single one of those properties makes them a one-off cash profit of £3,000 and then 8% of the rent every month. So do the maths. One of the massive reasons why I put so much value on rent-to-buy is that the price of anything is the amount of your life that you're prepared to exchange for it. If you love the idea of rent to buy, keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, and watch out for future videos on rent to buy. Because if, like me, you love this strategy, well, let's keep working together and let's make sure you end up real soon as a rent to buy landlord. You've been wonderful. I've been Paul. See you soon.